Hello, Algebra 2, 8.6, Part 2, the last lesson. Our last one for the year, guys. Let's make it a good one. Okay, so it's very similar to what we were doing yesterday in day 1, where we're finding what our common denominator would be, multiplying that to all the tops, and canceling out, and that way we won't have any denominators left. It'll make our life a lot easier. We're going to solve these inequalities today. Okay, so we're going to start off the same way. We have a 3, we have a 4, which is 2 times 2, and then we have our x minus 2. Okay, there's no overlap here. We're going to have to use all of them. So we have our 3 times 2 squared times x minus 2. We're looking at a 12 x minus 2 to everything. Okay? So we're going to go 12 x minus 2. We got a 12 x minus 2. 12 x minus 2. Okay? Well, let's look at this. 12 divided by 3 is just going to be a 4. X minus 2, x minus 2. And then 12 divided by 4 is going to be a 3. Alright. So we have our 4x minus 12. 1 minus 1 times 12, minus 12. And we're going to forget about the inequality sign here. We're just going to call it an equals for now. And we have 3 times x plus 1 times x minus 2. Our x plus 1 from here, our x minus 2 from there, and our 3 was from 12 divided by 4. Oops, I lost my x minus 2 over here. 4x times x minus 2. Alright. Let's do a little multiplying. We're going to take all this to both of those. 4x times x is 4x squared. 4x times minus 2, minus 8x. We still have our minus 12. Okay, over here, 3 times x squared minus 2x plus 1x, right? Minus 2x plus 1x is going to be a minus 1x. And then a 1 times negative 2 for a minus 2. So we have this side. Okay, let's distribute that 3. Alright. Let's get everything onto one side. We're going to move all these over there. How do I know to move these over? Because I want to keep x squared positive. And if I subtracted 4x squared, we're going to end up with a negative x squared over here. So it's just good practice to keep your biggest exponent positive. So we're going to minus 3x squared. We're going to add 3x. We're going to add 6. Alright, we'll have x squared minus 5x minus 6 equals 0. What's going to multiply to negative 6 and add to negative 5? How about a negative 6 and a positive 1? X minus 6, x plus 1. Making our answers x equals 6, x equals negative 1. Okay? And then we have to bring back one more important number. Okay, so these are our key numbers. Usually these would be our answers, but it was an inequality, so it's got some extra steps here involved. So these are our key numbers plus anything that makes the bottom equal 0. Anything that makes the bottom equal 0, the denominators equal 0. Okay, we only have one number that would do that, and that would be if x was 2. Okay, so x can't be 2, so negative 1, 2, and 6 are our special numbers. So we're going to make a number line. With negative 1, 2, and 6. Okay, we got to pick a number to test in each interval there. Smartest number to pick is 0 there between negative 1 and 2. 5s are usually pretty friendly. And then out here I'm going to go with 10 and negative 10. And now I have to go back into my original problem, put my test numbers into my original problem, and see if it makes my inequality true. This was a less than. Okay. So what happens if I put negative 10 up here? Negative 10 is negative 10 thirds minus 1 over negative 10 minus 2. Is that less than negative 10 plus 1, so negative 9, over 4? Okay, so you have negative 10 thirds minus a negative, so plus 1/12. Is that less than negative 9/4? So this is kind of a tough one to think about. You might need a calculator. But negative 9/4 is going to be negative 2.25, and negative 10 thirds is going to be negative 3.3. So even though I'm adding a 12th, I don't think that's going to be enough to make this bigger than negative 2.25. So we're going to say this is a go. That's a good one. So it's going to be less than negative 1. That's going to be part of my answer. Testing out 0. What happens if we put 0 in? 0 over 3 is 0. Minus 1 over 0 minus 2, so negative 2. So minus a negative, so it's going to be a positive half. Is a positive half less than 0 plus 1 over 4, 1/4? So negative over negative. Is a positive half less than a fourth? No. No. What happens if I put 5 in? 5 thirds minus 1 over 5 minus 2 is 3, so 5 thirds minus 1/3, that worked out nice. Is that less than 5 plus 1, that's 6 over 4. So 5 minus 1, this is 4 thirds. Is 4 thirds less than 6/4? So 4 thirds is 1.3 repeating. 6/4 is 3 halves is 1.5. So very close, but yes, 4 thirds is less than 6/4. And our last one, if I put 10 in, we'll have 10 thirds minus 1 over 10 minus 2 minus 1/8. Is that less than 11/4? So 10 thirds, again, is going to be 3.3 repeating minus an eighth. Is that going to be less than 11/4? So 11/4 is smaller than 3. 12/4 would be 3. So this is smaller than 3. This is bigger than 3. And even though if we minus the 1/8, it's still not going to get smaller than 3. This is a no. So here's our yeses. So our final answer would be x's that are less than negative 1 and x's that are between 2 and 6. All right? A long process here, but you can do it. Okay, this is a little bit shorter, a little bit nicer of one. go ahead and give that one a shot on your own. Here, let's push pause and let you try that one on your own. Alright, so see how we did. So our denominators are 4x, x, and 1. So piece of cake here. We're going to just be using 4x. So if I multiply everything on both sides by 4x, what's going to happen? Cancel. The x's cancel. Nothing. So I just have just 5 plus 16 is less than or equal to 12x. So that's a 21 divided by 12. Okay, 21 divided by 12, reduce. I can divide them both by 3. 7/4 or 1.75. Okay, and that's not all. We also need to test out what makes the bottom equal 0, and that in this case it'd be 0. Alright, so now we make our number line. This time it's easier because we only have two numbers on it, 0 and 1.75. Alright, so my test numbers. Make it easy on yourself. -1, 1, 2. If I put -1 up here, 5 over -1 times 4, so -5/4 plus 4 over -1, -4. Is that less than 3? Negative plus a negative, yep, that's going to be less than 3. Yes. And that matches what we had. Well, I guess not. It was this one I was thinking of. Yep, 0. So that's going to come from that part. We would have missed that part if we didn't do this other test. We would have just had x is greater. Okay, between here, I'm going to guess this is a no. 5/4 plus 4, is that less than 3? So 4 is already bigger than 3, plus more. This is not going to work. No. And then if I put 2 over here, 4 times 2 is 8. Plus 4 over 2, is that less than 3? So 4 over 2 is 2. 5/8 is not 1. It's smaller than 1, so it's going to be less than 3. Yes. So here we are with x's that are less than 0 or x's that are greater than 1.75. Alright. One more type of problem. We were going to do these yesterday, but we ran out of time. It was getting to be a long video, a long lesson, so we cut it off. We're going to have to throw them in on the end of this one. Okay? So these are just word problems that you kind of have to turn into ratios. The ratio of 3 times a number. So ratio first off means fraction, right? So we're going to have fraction, something on top, something on the bottom. So the ratio of 3 times a number. Okay, so 3 times the number, that's going to be 3x. And so now we're going to switch over to the bottom. 4 more than a number. 4 more than a number, so x plus 4 equals 3 to 2. So there's our ratio. We have 3x over x plus 4 is equal to 3 over 2. So we're going to cross multiply. We'll have 2 times 3x equals 3 times x plus 4 for a 6x equals 3x plus 4. 12. Come on. 12 minus 3x divide by 3, and we should be getting 4. Check it out, put it back in, make sure it works. 3 times 4 is 12. 4 plus 4 is 8. 12 over 4 would reduce, or 12 over 8 would reduce to 3 halves. Okay, another one here. This one's a little bit more challenging. Still, the ratio of, what are we dividing? The sum of, okay, so on the top we have a sum. What are we adding? The sum of twice a number and 4. Twice a number and 4. And. So there's a lot of ands. So and kind of means like linking things together. So I'm doing the ratio. And last time it was the ratio of something and. So I knew that the one part was the top and one part was the bottom. Okay, this one had a second and because I was doing the ratio of the sum of. Alright, so when you have an of, you need an and kind of there to kind of tie it up. So the first and is going to close off our most recent of. So the sum of twice the number and 4. These two things are being added. And the difference. Now we're going back to our ratio of. And the difference of 12 and a number. So the difference is subtraction, 12 and a number. 12 minus x is 2 to 1. Okay, that can be tough. And the best way to get better at these is just practice. Just practice. Okay, so we're going to cross multiply. Hopefully these work out nice. Sometimes when you're making these up on the fly, they don't always work out. So let's see, 1 times 2x plus 4 is 2x plus 4. 2 times 12 minus x is going to be 24 minus 2x. So let's add that 2x over, and we'll minus 4. And we'll finish with 4x equals 20. X is 5. Put it back in and check it. 2 times 5 is 10, plus 4 is 14. 12 minus 5 is 7. 14 over 7 is 2 over 1. Okay. Not really story problems, but they're word problems. Your homework should be up on the board, and let's have a good one.